So, good evening, everyone. Good evening, classmates. Good evening, Ma'am Erms. So, this is Margaret as your Bakuman's student. And today, I will discuss about my experience during my real estate days as a workplace dishonesty. During my work days as a real estate uh, agent, I witnessed a situation in the workplace that raised a serious ethical concerns. A co-worker of mine took a client who was originally assigned to another agent just to secure sale and commission, of course. This act of dishonesty not only violated the company's policy but also compromised the trust and fairness that should exist in our profession. At first, I struggled on how to respond. I knew I needed to think things through carefully, so applied the 7 steps of moral reasoning model to guide my decision. So first, I recognized the moral issue. The issue was clear. Taking another agent's client for personal gain is dishonesty and unethical. It violates the company's policy and the core principles of fairness and integrity. Second, I gathered relevant facts. I took a step back to confirm what had happened. I verified the client was initially assigned to someone else, and my coworker knowingly took them for personal benefit. I also considered whether this was an isolated case or just a larger pattern. And third, I identified the stakeholders. The situation didn't just affect my coworker; it affected the original agent who lost the rightful client, the client who was unknowingly involved, and the company, which depend on ethical business practices. It also affects me as someone who had to decide between staying silent or speaking up. So far, I considered available alternatives on what to do. I had a few options. I could ignore the issue to avoid conflict or talk directly to my coworker to encourage uh, honesty or report the incident to the management so they will address it fairly. So I evaluate alternative using moral principles. I ask myself, what is the most ethical choice? What aligns with fairness, honesty, and professional integrity? Ignoring the situation felt wrong. Confronting my coworkers directly might help, but if they refuse to take responsibility, the issue would persist. Reporting it to the management ensure fairness but also carry the risk of workplace tension. So I had to make a decision. After weighing the options, I choose to act. I decided to act the right thing to do to bring the matter to the appropriate authority within the company. So the decision wasn't about getting anyone in trouble. It's about upholding the fairness in our workplace. And number 7, act and reflect on the decision. I took an action and reported the issue professionally. Looking back, I know I made the right choice. Ethical business practices are what keep our industry credible. If we allow dishonesty to slide, we create a culture where success is driven by deception instead of skill and hard work. At the end of the day, emotions like fear and guilt can cloud our judgment. But when we rely on moral reasoning and have the courage to stand by what is right, we help create fair and ethical work environment. And that is something worth standing for. By the way, this is Mark Retes, your Bakumas student, and that's all I can help you to know what is the dilemma I face during my real estate things. Thank you and God bless.